Hey, welcome to part 11 of the Metroid Prime commentary.
Woo.
Shoulder pads!
Hot, 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 hot.
Okay, I'm gonna get extremely nitpicky here, but am I the only one who's bothered by how bulky the arm cannon gets when you choose a different different beam upgrade other than power?
Well, actually, if I can... I kind of agree in a sense, because there's something about how wide the wave beam is. Well, the wave beam variation of the cannon is. It's just, I don't know why, there's just something about it that bothers me, but I love how the plasma beam makes the cannon slightly longer.
Well, it's just the arm cannon always just seemed too long for me in Prime 1. Or maybe that's just because I played Prime 3 more than Prime 1, but...
They're the exact same size.
Yeah.
I don't know, okay, well then in all the Prime games, the
then
arm cannon seems like fucking ginormous.
And then you get to Prime 2, and then you get the Dark Beam, and it becomes a friggin' shotgun.
Yeah, in a sense. Well, the plasma beam sort of does that anyway, but the...
I don't think it ever gets as big as the Dark Beam.
No, because the Prime 2 uses Prime 1 variations, only just they just change the color a bit. Like the Dark Beam
Just
is pretty much the Dark Beam is pretty much the Ice Beam. The Light Beam,
I do think they added a bit more to it for some reason.
No, I don't think they have. Like the Light Beam is pretty much the Wave Beam, and the Annihilator Beam is the Plasma Beam function.
Not that
Only
you're
have
ever
to pay
using
missiles for it.
Yeah. Well, no. The Annihilator Beam takes both light and dark ammo.
Very stupid decision, by the way.
The weapon is broken. You know, I'll give it that. You know, not just because it's both light and dark, but it homes in on targets automatically, and you can spam the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
But still, I understand that. Oh, I don't like the concept of beam ammo to begin with. So
I assume that's another reason why you didn't really like Metroid Prime Hunters.
no, Metroid Prime Hunters just sucks.
Well, all of the different
But
weapons in that
online
game
multiplayer, everyone plays
That's
as
right.
Spire.
I said it.
But John, online multiplayer, everyone plays as Spire.
I liked Candon in online multiplayer.
Everyone plays Spire.
I played as Candon.
No, you suck.
Oh.
You gotta play as the top tier, dude, otherwise you're not playing for serious.
You gotta play as the spy. What, if he holds still, he turns invisible. He's the spy.
There's actually.
I'm just picturing a multiplayer FPS where everyone is standing still doing nothing.
That's kind of what it turned into.
Sounds like Resident Evil 5's online multiplayer.
Now, sounds like Metroid Prime Hunters. Everyone chooses Spire, everyone stays still because they want to be invisible.
It was a pretty fun for a multiplayer game. Well, at least until it completely wrecked your touchscreen.
Yeah.
Good news.
The only game that did...
We invented stealth technology. That's great. What's the bad news? You can't move while using it. Well, fuck.
Snake.
Solid Snake is way ahead of you fuckers.
Years in advancement of cardboard technology still beats out the future.
If you know how to use it effectively.
also has genuine stealth camo.
Nothing beats a cardboard
technology.
box. Cardboard technology.
No, dude, the drum. The drum is the way of the future.
Cardboard technology.
Can't beat that. Anyway, I'm getting nostalgic.
Oh wait, this is so this is the same frigate that we crashed.
That we crashed in the beginning of the game. Yep.
Is it like it's the same layout, only more broketed, right?
Yes, it's more broketed indeed.
Borked.
I'm actually a bit disappointed though. This place is not completely incinerated.
Those
I didn't blow it up
these
enough.
tubes where you're in skittering things always remind me of that one little bit of Resident Evil 2 where you're in the sewers and suddenly skittering things.
Of all the musical tracks in this game, this is probably my least favorite.
Your least favorite? I love
Yeah.
this track.
What the how do you pronounce it? F-R-I-G-A-E-T. Is
Frigate or frigate? Frigate, whatever.
Frickin'.
Hey, question: if you use the ice beam underwater, does it freeze the water around you?
No.
No.
That's not very realistic at all, then.
It's. Are you seriously questioning realism in a Metroid game?
Floating
Well,
You
platforms.
wouldn't like the Banjo-Kazooie games, because in that games you can shoot your fire projectile underwater and it still counts as fire.
Well, Banjo-Kazooie's a mascot platformer. This is Metroid. Of all the top name Nintendo
We
franchise.
damn know well that Metroid was always known for its sense of realism.
Well, ironically enough, because it's set in space, it's the most down to earth of the main Nintendo franchise.
There's no, you gotta do wordplay, dude. There's no Earth. You gotta say down to Zebus or
Down
Tallon
to
IV.
SR388.
I mean, it's like the most serious business kind of realism sort of game out of the Nintendo franchises, which isn't saying a whole lot compared to the others, but it's the one that it takes itself seriously. So when it
Zelda tries to take itself seriously.
No, Zelda. Yeah, I don't think they succeed very often, though.
No.
It doesn't try to take itself seriously in that sense. What I mean is, and this is a series where when it fails to logic, you feel the need to ask about it.
I don't know, I question the logic in Zelda a lot. Looks at Skyward Sword.
Anyway, Ryan, you were saying you don't really enjoy the Frigate Orphean's underwater theme?
No, I don't particularly like it.
Really? Huh.
I think this is a really great.
It just feels out of place for a Metroid game compared to the rest of the soundtrack.
By the way, playing a game in like heat vision like this hurts my eyes.
I actually think this is perfectly suited. Well, at this point we've already had Super Metroid. Meridia's theme is pretty similar to this. I thought that fit pretty well, and this is actually one of my favorite themes in the game, actually.
All of the Metroid underwater themes seem to have a similar sort of piano-y, soft sort of sound.
Yeah, well, Prime 2 brought back Meridia's theme from Super Metroid, which I actually did enjoy. Got a little nostalgic hearing that theme again.
My favorite underwater theme in the series is actually probably Fusion's underwater theme. The one that plays at the end.
Sector 4.
Yeah, at the very end of the game in Sector 4.
Yeah.
I don't really remember Sector 4's first theme song. What do we have to find in here?
Upgrades.
No, but it's weird because I always remember going to this place, but I never remember what you're supposed to do in here.
Well,
blow it up more.
Yeah, we obviously didn't finish the job.
It's still in It's still in multiple pieces.
It's still, yeah.
Here's the thing. Samus did really well in her blowing up planets course, but she slept through blowing up space stations, so she doesn't do as good of a job.
It's
so
not
she
exactly
took up the makeup class before Metroid Prime 4. Metroid 4. I mean,
don't say that. You know very damn well I want that game. But I'm most likely never gonna get it.
What's that? Nintendo says you want more, Mario.
No, this is just me, but I do think that if they do another Metroid game, it's going to be a 2D game similar to Super Metroid because they don't want to take a risk with it after Other M.
Nintendo doesn't want to take a risk at all these days.
If not take another risk with the Other M formula, then at least go back to Prime. They know Prime's successful.
I just think they'll go back to something that everyone will want, but also everyone will buy, because Prime doesn't sell well in Japan. So they'll just make
Metroid doesn't sell well in Japan regardless.
Well, the 2D stuff sells better in Japan than the Prime games do. So they'll make a 2D Metroid so that they'll get something in their home country, and then everyone will be happy. You see, no, that's just the problem with Nintendo. The lesson that they're going to learn from Other M is not to take risks, when the real lessons that they should learn is that they should take risks, but make sure that they do a good job while doing so.
They should learn to hire writers.
No, well, they did that in between Other M and Kid Icarus Uprising, at the very least.
You think so? Because I heard the reason why Kid Icarus is so appealing to us Western audiences is because the localization team pretty much changed the entire plot.
Well,
it's more that the Japanese audience. It's more that the Japanese audiences let the localization team do their freaking jobs.
There's a guy who has who translated the Japanese script for Kid Icarus Uprising, so you can see what they said in basically what the original script was. And while the changes are noticeable, they're not. So it's still the same basic, it's the same exact story.
Yeah.
Like the most that they do is change the jokes so that it's a joke that's funny for English-speaking audiences as opposed to funny for Japanese-speaking audiences.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, they let the localization team do their freaking jobs.
Like, even if it wasn't just localizations, Kid Icarus Uprising just has a better story than Other M does. So they can write. I don't get where this idea that Nintendo can't do stories come from, because they can do it. It's just that they need to be motivated.
That's just the Mario Zelda stigma.
No, they can't do stories because Miyamoto won't let them.
Well, there's that too. Yes.
I would think that would only apply to Mario or Zelda, though, to be honest.
No, apparently that's a directorial thing he likes to kind of push on everyone.
Because I don't think he has any input in Metroid.
I think he has very superficial input on Metroid. It's not really his baby, so he doesn't. I think he's
he
a little
cares.
bit liberal.
Yeah, I don't think he has any real input in terms of story for the Metroid series.
Yeah, that's one beef I have with Miyamoto. I've heard of like game designers being snooty about making stories in games, but Miyamoto is probably the only case I know of where a designer is snooty about not making stories in video games. It's like, I don't know. He's that old guy who's yelling "back in my day," and
he's just trying to keep it generalized so he can appeal to the wider mass market.
Well, he can at least do world building and stuff relatively well, because like the Pikmin 1 and 2 have really good background information, like in the logs, like in the captain's logs and in the encyclopedias and stuff.
Well, there are people that believe the moment we start introducing continuity to something like Mario, that's when they'll start losing it.
Well, you don't need continuity. I just want more character to it, honestly.
Mario's a cardboard box, Peach is a ham sandwich.
Like, you get traces of it with, like, the side characters, but not with anybody who's actually important.
Yes, to me, Peach is now just a ham sandwich.
And she will continue to be a ham sandwich until she gets another game of herself, or they add character to her.
They probably never will.
No, but I'm fine with the ham sandwich.
That's another disappointing thing about Sticker Star. And the Paper Mario games are like one of the only times where Peach actually does something, and Peach does nothing in that game.
She's still more useful in Mario RPG.
Well, because
she's broken in RPG, but.
Well, yeah, but she at least contributes to plot and stuff in the other games. You know?
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
She's still
anyway,
a ham.
you were asking why we're venturing through the Friday.
Okay, so in the Paper Mario story, she's not a ham sandwich. She's a ham sandwich with cheese and a little olive on top.
Oh, olive? No, thanks. You just ruined the character for me, Ryan. Thanks.
I've never tried an olive.
I don't know how the hell you ruined the ham sandwich for me, but you found a way.
Okay, so
I don't really like ham sandwiches. I prefer turkey or roast beef.
So do I.
Ham is like bacon, lettuce, and tomato.
Oh, what, a BLT?
Yes.
BLTs are boring.
Oh no, John, you insulted bacon. You just incurred the wrath.
Says the guy who's from the city where all they do is put cheese and meat on.
I love bacon, but a BLT just seems boring to me.
Says the guy from.
I don't think bacon
This is what you need, okay? You need a crispy chicken BLT wrap.
But that's not a BLT. That's a chicken BLT. I'm just talking about bacon, lettuce, tomato by itself.
Says the guy from a city where all they do for sandwiches is melt cheese on some steak and put it on a bun.
Well, steak is a lunch meat in itself. Bacon to me is not something you eat by itself. It's an additive. You eat it with something else.
You do know that John is not the city of Philadelphia, right? He is his own person.
He might as well be. As far as I've never.
I am a fat motherfucker.
I've never been to Philly, so you might as well be for all I know.
Bacon as an additive, really. Bacon is at its best when you can taste nothing but the bacon.
No, I prefer it when it's like on a burger or something.
It needs to be on a burger or on any sort of sandwich.
It
adds texture.
I have no problem, like when I'm making breakfast for myself, eating bacon by itself until I get to the eggs. But it's just, I'm not the kind of person that will one day at around midnight saying, you know what, I have a pack of bacon in my refrigerator. I'm gonna go microwave some of that up right now and eat it. I'm not that type.
Why would you microwave bacon?
Because it's faster and it doesn't leave much of a mess.
And it doesn't shoot you in the eye with hot grease, yeah, but still. The risk is worth the reward. Why are we talking about food?
Because
Peach
there's
is a
only
hand-
so
because
much
Peach
walking.
Because
Because
Peach is a hand
Prime
sandwich.
doesn't really have cutscenes, so we can't talk about that.
Oh,
The
look,
only
a
thing
cuts, as soon as you say that, a cutscene.
Oh, wave troopers! I hate them. This is where we're introduced to the beam variety. of
Conveniently
space.
color-coded for your convenience.
Yeah, color coded for your convenience. So this one's purple. You use the wave beam.
You think? Yeah. Okay. So they made these guys invincible to everything but wave beams. So what? They just couldn't spend the extra 5 minutes to make wave beams make themselves invincible.
I think if you scan it, it says they managed to reverse engineer weapons, which makes them impervious to other beam weapons except yours because of a design flaw.
Well, you think they would have spent the extra 5 minutes to hammer that out?
Give the space pirates way too much credit, Ted.
Yeah. They're not exactly the brightest bunch.
No, they're not. Prime 2 definitely seals that deal.
Well, in
Eh.
Prime 2, aren't they just sort of standing around getting eaten up by the ink?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
More or less.
And in Prime 3, they're just sort of Dark
They're
Samus.
corrupts, yeah.
Except for Ridley, who's just kind of there, but...
Well,
Ridley's
Ridley's
there
corrupted
because-
by Phazon in Prime 3, isn't he?
In a sense, yeah, because...
But he's not working for Dark Samus, at least.
But I would think he is corrupted in a sense, because you find him inside of Leviathan.
He's on the Space Pirate Leviathan, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, you know what I think what happened? I think he just sort of went home after the first battle with Samus, accidentally fell into a Phazon pool, and just started tripping out until Samus got there.
You mean he just stumbled on him when he was high? Okay.
That would explain why he doesn't fly during that tube section, but...
Very true.
Like, he stops right before you hit the ground, it's like, wait, I can fly!
There's actually one detail I like in the original Prime game that they removed for the trilogy version. It has to do with the beam weapons. When you charge up a specific beam, you get some sort of particle effect that the cannon suffers through. Like the power beam, you get like this heat fuse,
exhaust, yeah.
heat exhaust. The ice beam gets involved with ice, and I think the wave beam just
Sparks
starts
a little
going
bit.
all spastic. But they take away those details in the trilogy version. I'm guessing because the motion controls, but
Well, what would the motion controls have to do with that? It's just...
I don't know though. That's why
Your cannon moves around, so maybe. Oh, we're going all Ghostbusters on their ass. Okay.
You're behind.
You're like a minute behind.
Well, not a minute
Oh,
behind.
not a
Damn it.
minute, like 15 seconds.
That probably happened when my internet started spazzing out again.
We're at 18 minutes.
Well, the way The way they-
I think it has more to do with just the fact that you can move your beam rather than it kind of always being in its one position.
well, from a programmer stance, the way this functions is that we're obviously not controlling a full model of Samus at this point. The arm cannon's sort of just floating there.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Welcome to first-person shooters.
Yeah, that's how first-person shooters usually work. They don't load a full model for you to control. It's usually just the arms.
And occasionally the legs, depending.
Yeah.
What about games where there's... Okay, well...
Well, what you're seeing on the screen is not the full model. There may be a full
There's a
model
graphic
in
of it,
play, but you won't see it from the first-person perspective. Maybe in reflections.
You can look down as hard as you can, but you'll never see Samus's feet. I actually think someone proved that in Portal 2, the final scene with Wheatley, that when Chell is getting herself back up together, only her arms are loaded. So if you somehow hack the camera to see it from a different perspective, you only see a bunch of floating arms in the portal gun.
Yeah.
Well, would having an extra model there really...
There'd be no point.
There's no
See
point if you can't see it, and that's taking up processing power.
Whatever.